Please listen to the simple de la style I'm gonna sing. It's strongly directed to all the misery you're bringing. Now I'm not all about dissing someone else's personnel, but there's no...
We are here at one of the most global universities in the world, and I think your project might be something that could interest a lot of our foreign students. Could you tell us a bit more?
Well, World Investigates grows out of the idea of Africa Investigates, which we've just kicked off with now. And how it works is we basically find investigative journalists, people who are already doing investigative journalism and have done it for some time, and mostly in the developing world. So they're not making films. So what we're going to them and saying is, would you like to make a film? And if the story works, then we find ways of resourcing, supporting, and helping the process. It's just a new way of thinking about journalism, because much journalism is top down, whereas the journalism I've always practiced has been bottom up, and it's really finding out what's going on, you know, at the bottom of a story, and then working up towards the top. And I think we tend to do it the other way around, and that's not very helpful. And I think the other thing is, it's pretty obvious. We have sort of tradition of parachute journalism, where we send journalists overseas to tell us what's going on somewhere. And actually, it would be quite interesting sometimes to hear what those people in those countries actually already know.
You spoke specifically about African journalists and African news being reported by actual Africans. Would you like to tell me more about that?
I mean, over the years, people have argued that Africa doesn't get enough coverage from the Western media, because, to be fair, it's the West that has the medium, it's the West that has the money and stuff like that. So it's the West that's been covering Africa over the years, and that's one reason why I have always believed that a proverb that was told to me by my dad, that if as long as it is the hunter that tells the lion's story, the lion's version of the story will never be known. It's always the hunter who will have the glory. So we Africans have always thought that, until we start telling our own story, our stories will not be told properly the way we want them told. But, with the complaints that Africa has not been covered, because everywhere you go you hear a lot of Africans saying, oh, the Western media is not covering Africa. That's not true. The West has been covering Africa perhaps more than Latin America, more than Eastern Europe. What has been lacking in the coverage of Africa is context. It's the proper details. And so for us as Africans, we now believe that there is a lot that Western journalists have failed to cover when it comes to Africa because of political correctness. So we want to take away political correctness. We want to report Africa the way the stories are, without holding back, without worrying about political correctness. So that is why it was important to bring a unit like this, Africa Investigates, so that Africans will be able to tell Africa's story to fellow Africans the African way, without holding back. Well, just like any other like journalism in the West, but without holding back. So for me, that's why it was important that we have something like this, Africa Investigates. Let your viewers answer the question. If you are walking by a stream and the stream is dirty and you want to understand why the water is dirty, you don't look on top, you go underneath. That's what we want to do. We want to start telling Africa's story from the bottom up, so that people will get the context, the details, why things are not happening, why things are going wrong. So for us, it's a way of making the important interesting. But the only way we can do this is by empowering these African journalists to ensure them, pay them well, protect them, so that they will discharge their duties without fear or favor.
Brilliant.